Jack's Rambly Bits. Hey everybody, welcome back. Did you ever notice something about boats? They're kind of, horrendously broken. You see, all this week I've been thinking about, well, boats. And ever since I can remember, boats have always seemed very buggy. There will be long periods of time where they seemingly do next to nothing. Mojang's intent for them seems to have more or less been implemented, but then there are these odd, one-off situations where boats are seemingly broken as all hell. Obviously, in recent times, boats literally no longer function. They just sink right into the ocean. But did you know that there were other times where there were many other exploits that also all involved boating? Yeah, the recent troubles with boats are just one among many in a long series of issues that have arisen from boats and their associated bugs. Most famously, of course, there is the Talo Taxi featured by FitMC himself, which was an offshoot of the earlier Boatfly exploit of 2016, back when Mojang made the mistake of allowing boats to be controlled client-side. The fallout of this was a simple disabling of all writable entities for the many months following the backdoor of 2015, leading all the way up to right before the Russia War. But even earlier than that, I can remember a time when boats were also entirely disabled, all the way back in mid-2012, simply because there was some sort of an exploit that involved speed hacking on the ocean to generate incredibly long trails of chunks, many of which were followed by people all over creation in the following years. This then led to a bunch of 1 or 2 wide chunk trails that would stretch for hundreds of kilometers in some cases. Supposedly, all of this was done exclusively to bloat the server's file size intentionally, but that was only rumor from the time period specifically, and so I don't really have any proof of that intention. Of course, the oddities don't end there, for back in the day, when a boat collided with an object, it would just break into planks and sticks. If done correctly, however, there was some sort of teleportation exploit involved, one that was never quite detailed out to me personally, though the likes of X0XP and PopBob loved to brag about it for the brief time it was apparently possible. And of course, let's not forget the infamous clone dupe, which originated from riding a boat and spamming and disconnecting at the right time. It really is truly amazing what boats have been able to do. Supposedly, some of the first stacked armor was also created via a boat freecam exploit, employed by Oupain, or Opain, I believe he was known. Supposedly, he also discovered the very first clone dupe, but I don't really have any hard proof on that, simply because a lot of earlier stuff like that has next to no documentation to speak of. Numerous other points in history have shown that Boatfly is almost always a possible exploit one can use. In fact, I feel like I can talk about this now simply because it's currently patched, but there was a working Boatfly from August of 2023 all the way up until literally last week when we updated. That Boatfly, however, was snail's pace slow and very, very inconsistent. The server liked to kick you out of the boat, or worse. So it wasn't exactly viable for long-distance travel, but at any rate, the fact that Boatfly is seemingly always around us just sort of lends credence to the fact that boats are a bit of a nightmare. It seems like they've always been a magnet for all sorts of mischief and mayhem over the years. Why, even Nerds Inc. members employed a Boatfly to clip under the bedrock in the Nether in order to visit all the bases that they did when they griefed in 2016. And in 2018, there was a time where Alpha and I employed a Boatfly method that allowed us to fly through unloaded chunks themselves, preventing a trail of any kind from being made that another person could then follow. Had it not been for that Boatfly, I would never have had cows, sheep, or even villagers at Space Falcon 3. And the spawn masons at the end base they made in 2017 wouldn't have had polar bears or baby horses at it either. In light of all that, the current kerfuffle with boats simply sinking is kind of trivial in comparison, isn't it? But if you want to know a real secret about the boats sinking, well, to counteract this, all you have to do is simply... And there you go, now your boat can sail like normal. And in addition to all this, now there's a new boat with a chest in it, which does actually have a few applications for hoppers and other farm-related things like that. It just helps to speed up and increase the buffer of items you can shuffle around using hoppers and the like if you so wish. And as recently as a week ago, there appears to have been a video made by Stand Up Maths regarding a boat dropping mystery, where when a boat drops at a certain interval, apparently according to some sort of triangle number related mathematical schism, the boat will break entirely, which is surprisingly difficult to pull off in modern Minecraft, as Mojang buffed boats tremendously literally years ago, since they used to literally explode into planks and sticks all the time. It's actually really difficult to get the planks and sticks nowadays. But apparently, if you drop a boat from 12, 13, 49, 51, 111, 114, 202, 310, and 315 blocks up, you apparently can break a boat. The only downside is you have to actually be riding it, and you will take fatal fall damage. So make sure you got those Idols of Kinorana, or those goon figures, or whatever you kids are naming them these days. And of course, boats being entities means they are also subject to entity speed hacking, which I made a bit of a looser reference to earlier on just now. And wouldn't you know it, one of the first major exploits demonstrated to me by Alpha Computer himself on Future Client was entity speed hacking in a boat. He picked me up when we were on the temp map of 2018 sometime. I believe it was an April Fool's map, and he happily carted me around through most of the ocean. I was quite impressed by it, as I had used almost exclusively free clients up to that point, so it really helped charm me over to Future's more positive sides. It's probably the reason why I went to Future right away. Shortly after that, entity speed hacking as a whole extended to horses and pigs and the like, and people kind of forgot about how useful boats would be with entity speed hacking, but you wouldn't imagine it would be so useful until you were being pursued by, and remember, Elytra were disabled at this time, a group of people in full diamond armor. All it took is simply hopping in a boat and hacking away, and you were basically untouchable. I fondly remember doing a drive-by or two on various people on that same April Fool's map. This is incidentally how I met Bubba J in person for the first time. If it weren't for the fact that boats were simply not really usable in the same manner as pigs and horses would be about a year later, I'm sure it would have been once again another fleet of boats ending up at a Space Falcon instead of a few rideable animals. It's funny how history has something of a rhyming nature to itself, doesn't it? And well, as we close out here, if you've liked what you've heard today, please leave me a like and post a comment, as I greatly appreciate any help you'd be willing to give me. And if you'd like to support me and my channel any further, you can join a membership and receive a signed book from me on TP2T, earlier access to all of my videos, as well as in their uncensored forms. Join our Discord link below as well, and follow me on Twitter for any further updates or fun things that I may post here and there. I'd also like to thank all the members who have already joined: Amion, MCZ2352, Gam, Shoop, Orson, Pale Blue Zebra, Glubtubies, Mr. Strangle, Raviable, Holmesy85, YOUKJL, Frenzy, Jamjohn, Hydracta, Rob, Know How, and Idahax. And have yourselves a wonderful day.